Hey everyone, Andrew here, Melbourne Superman, and I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about something that seems to be running rampant more and more in the cosplay, social media, and sort of otherwise arenas. Basically, there are things that happen in social media that kind of aren't okay, and I think more people need to come out and talk about this stuff, because the more that it goes unchecked, the more that it goes, unnoticed, not unnoticed, but just unactioned, the more it's going to happen. I'm very lenient in things that I see on my personal, my Instagram account. I'm like Melbourne Superman. And I always give people the benefit of the doubt, and I always make sure, my thing is, I understand that people get excited. I understand that there's, a level of fantasy there. And I always make sure that I give them that benefit of the doubt and make sure that I let them go as far as I think is safe and secure. It's when those lines are crossed that things get uncomfortable, things get essentially, it puts a bad taste in your mouth. And so I wanted to come on and talk about a few things that, as someone who's going through social media, or if you're somebody who follows a cosplayer, or if you've seen cosplay, or if it's new to you, or if you're really excited about certain accounts, I want to come and talk to you about some of the things that are just, that you should keep in mind for most, if not all, cosplayers out there. So we'll get right into this. Number one, for me personally, now this isn't for all of them, but I think a lot of the times there is a misconception of cosplay. So for me personally, cosplay is cosplay. It's not role play. I'm not trying to role play someone. Every now and then, comments are fun. It's like, oh, you're saving the world. It's like, yep, got to save the world again. Or, yep, Batman's being a jerk again. But it's sometimes when those comments go too far and they get too deep, or you start getting sort of DMs and private messages about, and it's all role play stuff, like they're talking to you as if you're that character. And I get it that, again, like I said in the beginning, there is a fine line between fantasy and reality in cosplay. But if you're trying to role play with somebody and they're not really giving you that back, kind of take the hint that they might not want to role play. Not all cosplayers want to role play, and that's okay. It's fun every now and then, but if it goes too far, you have to kind of understand that cosplayers are people. They are people with normal jobs. They're people with, bills, families, partners, children. So you got to kind of keep that in mind, right? Which kind of goes into the next one. Number two, cosplay, and I cannot stress this enough. I've said it so many times, cosplay. If you're somebody that needs to hear this, hear this. Cosplay is not consent. Okay, I'll repeat that for those in the back. Cosplay is not consent. I can't stress that enough, right? Just because you see somebody in a costume, that does not mean that, you can say to them whatever you want, send them whatever you want, ask them for whatever you want. Cosplay is not consent. It's a hobby, right? It's a hobby. It's something that we do because we dearly love it. We dearly love these characters that we do. Some of us use cosplay as something to promote something else. For example, with Melbourne Superman, I always promote mental health, fitness, general well-being, that sort of thing. But that doesn't mean I want messages or comments talking about what I hide under my cape, or, what my... I don't want messages from people saying, let's see what you look like without the suit. It's very rare that I get that, but that's not okay. Don't send people messages like that. Don't send, especially females, messages like that. Don't send males messages like that. Number three, just don't say inappropriate things that you wouldn't want said to yourself or somebody that you love. Like, if you're going to say something, make sure that you would be okay saying that to your mother, your father, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children even sometimes. I don't want to see people saying inappropriate stuff that would make somebody cringe. Like, again, you're talking to a real person here, not a robot, not a sex fantasy, right? You're talking to a real person. So say appropriate things that would not get you, say, banned from your local school or a local business. Like if you went into a business and you said face-to-face something to somebody, you'd want it to be appropriate. So don't think that you can go onto somebody's social media account and say something that you wouldn't otherwise say in person. Which leads to the next thing. Just because you don't know this person, so this is number 4. So number 1 was cosplay, not roleplay, depending on who you're talking to. Number 2, cosplay is not consent. Number 3 is the inappropriate things. Don't say them. Make sure that the things that you say you could say to somebody in real life. Number 4, just because you don't know these people, just because they're cosplayers, just because they're people behind the social media or a computer, that doesn't mean you can say anything that you want. They're still people. They're still people that have lives, that have feelings. That's the most important thing. These people have feelings, and what you say, if it's inappropriate, can hurt those feelings. It can demotivate them. It can turn them away from cosplay. So, again, you wouldn't go up to somebody that you know in a grocery store and say, hey, as Scotty B said in our interview, you wouldn't go up to somebody in real life and say, hey, nice to meet you, here's my private parts. Or, hey, nice to meet you, can I see your private parts? You wouldn't do it. Don't do it to somebody that you don't know online. That's it. Number 5, and this is probably a little bit more controversial, but I really want this to also come out because I'll be honest with you, all of the inappropriate things that I've ever had said to me through comments, through messages, are from males. So I want you to understand that just because if you're a male saying this to another male, that doesn't make it okay. A male shouldn't say it to a female. A male shouldn't say it to a male. A female shouldn't say it to a female. A female shouldn't say it to a male. Just because you're one certain gender or one certain sexual orientation or one certain race or one certain creed, it doesn't give you any rights over anybody else in terms of what you can say to somebody or what you think you can get away with. That's all I'll say about that. Just take that on board if you need to. And that's it. That's kind of, those are like the 5 kind of rules that I like to see followed, especially on my page. Like when I get inappropriate stuff, 9 times out of 10, I'll delete it and block it, and I don't engage with that person. I don't really necessarily believe in calling people out because I get it. There's something missing from that person's life that they feel that it's okay to go on and do this. Or maybe that person is suffering from something. But it's getting to a point where, like, I'm starting to see patterns of comments from people who are trying to sort of test the waters and see how far they can get, and it's not going to fly. I'm very good at reading people, so it's just not going to fly. You shouldn't make it fly with anybody else. We want to have fun doing cosplay, and we don't want to have it ruined for us. So I know this was kind of a hard video and a very intense video and a very direct video, but it's also a video that kind of more cosplayers need to stand up and say stuff like this because we're just trying to have fun. We're just trying to have fun. We're trying to live out our geek, nerd, and whatever fandoms, just because we appreciate the stuff that we do and we appreciate the loyalty and the followers that we have. What we don't appreciate is the negativity, the obscene stuff, and the stuff that would essentially, well, let's be honest, get you thrown in jail if you said to somebody some of this stuff in real life, or if you showed some of this stuff in real life. So keep that in mind. Make sure we're all just there to have fun. Have fun. Follow us. Give us support, but make sure it's family friendly and clean. So look, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.